All right, we are live. We're back with our seventh episode of the Come Up with Cage. And this one promises to be a fun one here. Um, Taking Twitter, Instagram, all of social media by storm the last 24, 48 hours. I mean, I couldn't avoid it. I put a comment in and, we put a post up there and he's right there. And I had to bring him on. I had to say, listen, this guy, he's the talk of the hobby today. So we have John from SlabShelf with us today to talk about what I think is a pretty cool way to display your slabs. There's a couple folks out there doing it. John's is pretty different. I think Luca Nation. I think this is something you guys might be interested in. Without further ado, welcome, John. It's great to have you on.
Cage, thanks for having me, brother. I'm a big fan. So awesome to be on to talk about SlabShelf, but just awesome to be on to talk to somebody really respecting the hobby, man. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, listen, I'm going to give you a good one. I'm not going to give you any gotcha question or anything crazy because when I mentioned it was the seventh episode, you went right to Mickey Mantle. You didn't go anywhere else. There's
only one number 7. That's it.
That's it. So we went right to Mickey. So he's, I love it. It's great. We'll take it. Mickey Mantle, done. Don't ask him any gotcha questions.
Yeah.
So listen,
beautiful.
I'm going to start you off, if you don't mind. Why don't you give the folks right off the bat where they can find SlabShelf, and after that, how about an origin story? Why don't you tell us, where this started, where it came from, where the idea came from,
sure.
and the like. Okay.
Yeah. So as far as where you can find it, super easy. You can either go to slabshelf.com or a ton of great content on @SlabShelf on Instagram. We have a Facebook page too. So just anything SlabShelf, @SlabShelf on Twitter as well. But the website, Instagram, would love to get some follows and to eventually see people displaying their slabs on a SlabShelf. And we'll obviously repost that, use the hashtag SlabShelf, just shelf it. And we'll get you on there. So that's where to find us. And as far as the origin story, so I've been a collector for 25-ish years. Started when I was a little kid. I have a very similar story as most people do, in this kind of day and age. So I collected when I was younger. I worked at my local card shop. Shout out to local card shops. Support your local card shops. I worked at my local card shop all throughout high school. I literally begged the guy for a job. I was like, you could pay me in cards. Like, I don't care. So I did that. And then I went to college, kind of entered the real world and just kind of forgot about my cards. For the most part, I would dabble every once in a while, but for the most part, they kind of were stashed away. And then, pandemic happens, you dust them off. And I kind of did what everybody did. I was like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that the standard was grading cards. So I went through my entire collection, sent, probably 50 or 60 cards to PSA, got them back, got some good grades, got some, real clunkers. But I was like, all right, cool. Like I have my sports den. Now I have all these graded cards. Like, what am I going to do to show them off? I have no natural sunlight in here. I was like, I want them out. I want to look at them and kind of hang out with them. And I couldn't find anything. And it didn't mean that nothing existed. It just I couldn't find anything that I wanted to display my cards on. So what I did was I went to Home Depot and I bought wood and I made a shelf. I made the first SlabShelf and it was terrible. I failed wood shop in high school. But it kind of did what it needed to do. And then I started talking to some friends and I showed them some pictures and I had some friends asking me hey, can you make me one? And the answer was no. I'm not making these wooden shelves for my friends. One, they're terrible, but two, that's not what I was going to do. So, I did a little bit more research in the hobby. That's what's great about social media and kind of going into some of these chats. You can very easily do market research. And it seemed like there was definitely a need for something like this. So I developed it. And what kind of started as just a fun little side project became a real initiative. And I got to scratch my entrepreneurial itch. And we launched officially. We turned the website on and all the social accounts on about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. We sent out all the promotional influencer kits. They hit last week, and they have been going over terrifically. I mean, some of the folks that I never thought would probably even open the package reached out, and it's been awesome. So the feedback so far has been great, and I'm just excited for people to get these into their homes and display their PCs.
And I want to let the whole folks know that even though Andrew and myself think that we are the best. Actually, we know we are the best, and there's nobody even close, not even a close second. We did not make the cut of the promotional packages, but he's still on here. I saw it, and I'm like, you know what? Look, this guy. This is exactly what the Come Up with Cage was created for, right? I mean, this is a guy who's got some steam, and there's going to be a couple quick posts from folks saying, "Hey, I got this," and then what happens then? Like, how do you capitalize on that momentum, right? So let me give him a second shout, right? I can't post my slab shelf because I don't have one because I didn't make the grade.
Yep. You're getting one. Don't worry. You're gonna get some cool merch. You're getting a slab shelf.
Talk about the simplicity of it, right? Because that was what was cool. Like, I actually started looking at it. I'm like, first of all, like it's a cool thing, right? So I know Lucanation, we've all seen the different ways of displaying your cards. Some of them are really elaborate and they're really cool. They hang on your wall and they have like 1 million cards in them and they're really, really cool. Like built like a whole deal. And there's room for probably a dozen different ways of doing this. Talk about what makes Slab Shelf different and why it's like an everyman's way of displaying your slabs.
Yeah, so it's a good question, right? And that's kind of what I was thinking when I was, envisioning what I want to do with it. And I have some, this one over the corner here. These are actually slab shelves. I really wanted something that would display the cards, but not take away from the cards, right? Like, the cards are what you want the focus to be on. So it's super simple. And actually, I have a kind of a clean one here. So it is a frosted acrylic. Comes in 3 pieces. It takes about 10 seconds to put together. And again, like, it doesn't take away from the cards. You put the cards on it and you kind of forget that the shelf is there. And that's what was so great about the stories I've gotten from some of these promotional kits is they're very taken aback by like the personalization and like the packaging. At the end of the day, it's a shelf. It's a plastic shelf, right? I didn't invent an electric car or a way to like end pollution worldwide. Like, it's a plastic shelf, but it's the thought that went into it with the influencers just to grab their attention, and then them saying like, "Hey, I would use this." It can go on a bookshelf. You can hang it on any wall, right? It has the screw holes to hang on any wall, and when you put it on the wall, you can literally mix and match. So that you can go, you can line the entire room with it. You can kind of stack them up and down. You can make any patterns. So it's versatile. It's easy. It's simple. And it's pretty affordable as far as from when I was asking people, like, what would you pay for it? And seeing what some of the other displays are going for. And it's a lot. This is $39.99. Free shipping if you order more than once. Basically, at 2 or more, it's free shipping. So people have been really receptive to the price too. I mean, the feedback I've gotten is, wow, I'd pay more for that. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, maybe I should charge more, but it's
not yet. Don't do that yet.
I just want people to have it. Yeah, I want to build up an audience, and I think people are going to buy 1 or 2 to try it out, and most people it holds 8 cards, like 8 slabs. 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom. And I think people are gonna be like, well, I have a lot more than 8 I want to display. So they'll come back and they'll buy, another 2, another 4. So it's the feedback has been phenomenal so far. Not just from the influencers. I mean,
think about myself, like a podcast background. It's be back there. Should be back. Everybody should have something behind them as a nice display. Myself, not just my Disney poster, which is normally back there, or the bobbleheads or whatever. Maybe that's behind me now. That's a cool thing. But you know what? The first thing that came to my mind when I saw it was, I used to do card shows. I used to, it's a table and regular card, and you got your, most people just have their showcase, right? Some people have a little bit of, a little shelving, maybe a little wire shelving, they pull it out of their pantry maybe, and they got some wax on it. Talk about a cool way of drawing attention to your table at a card show, at a larger card show. Couple these in the back of your showcases showing off some of your cards. It's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, for sure. So I think the card show is a really cool way. And speaking of card shows, we're actually going to be hitting the circuit. So I'm in New Jersey. So the Northeast, I'm going to be at a lot of card shows in the area. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And then I'm going to be going to this show so people will actually be able to buy some in person. A lot of card shops have hit me up when this hit too, just saying they want the product in store for their customers, but they also want the product behind their counters so they can display cards in their shop, which is kind of cool as well. So yeah, there's a ton of different ways that you can use it. Also, this is not something that I'm an expert in, but graded tickets now are a huge thing, right? Like graded sports stubs, and you can use a slab shelf for graded tickets as well.
There you go. Listen, you're gonna make them different sizes soon. You'll have comic book shelves. You can have all this stuff. So here's so again, SlabShelf at SlabShelf, SlabShelf.com, all these fun ones, right? So I try to keep these, relatively short. I try to give everybody, where they could find you and what the story is. But I'm gonna ask. We're gonna personalize you now. We're gonna ask some questions. I think everybody's got the gist of the product. They know where to find you. And I think we're going to start to see more people, more influencers, more people with them behind them, in their backdrops. You'll see that soon. All right. So here's a fun one. Maybe I'll give you an easy one. I'll do it by sport because it's kind of like that Mount Rushmore question. Baseball. All right. You can only put 8 cards on your slab shelf. Give me the 8 cards from your collection that go on your only one. I know you got a bunch on the wall, but you only can have one. You can't say I'm buying a second one. It's like that. I have the 3 wishes. You can't ask for more wishes with the genie lamp.
This is a really tough question. You said you're gonna throw me like an easy one.
That was an easy one. I could have said any sport. I mean, if that's easier for you, then that's great.
I'm glad that you said ones that I own, because if it was like you can have any, and I'm talking about like the 52 Topps Mantle, which I don't have. My first one would be my 84 Donruss Don Mattingly. And again, these are not like the most expensive cards, but just cards that like I love. So 84 Donruss Mattingly. I was 2 years old when that card came out, but like when I was 8, 9 years old, Don Mattingly was just a god. So that would be there. Probably my 54 Topps Hank Aaron, and I have a PSA 1, right? Like it's a beat up card. It was definitely in some kid's bike spoke. But like I have it, right? So that one's one of my favorite. 55 Topps Sandy Koufax. I'm not going in chronological order. My 89 Topps traded Ken Griffey Jr. just because I sent that to PSA and it gemmed.
Wow!
And I had that card when I was 7. So like,
so when you bought it when you were 7, did you buy it as part of a set or did you buy it and you bought it a single?
I got the Topps traded set for Christmas, right? And I kept it in there, and I literally broke it open.
Where did you keep it?
It was in my mom's attic.
That's the thing. So I had the 89 Topps traded set. And when I sent my Griffey in, it came back at 8. And it made sense because it moved around to many different houses and many different locations with me in in a container, like one of those like Rubbermaid things with all the other sets. And I'm like, there's no way this is gemming, and it didn't.
No, but mine was like in a mausoleum.
All right, well, that's nice.
Gemmed it. My 93 SP Derek Jeter. You can see a little bit of a Yankee Homer theme going on. I don't even remember how many I gave you. I kind of lost track.
So we got the 89 Donruss. 84 Donruss Mattingly. We got the Mantle. We got the Aaron, the Koufax. We have a Jeter, and we have the 89 Topps traded Griffey.
I'm cheating because I'm looking behind me. Oh, and then I have my so one of my Grail cards is a 48 leaf Jackie Robinson. Like I don't know if I'm ever gonna get there, but I have a 48 leaf Warren Spawn. So the fact that like it's from the same set.
Yeah, it's a cool card.
I love having that one. And then my 69 Topps Nolan Ryan. Like
there
that one is.
And you only got one left, and I'm gonna bet that it's a 1990 score blue border Kevin Moss.
It should be. I mean, M&M Brothers was just amazing. I actually was talking about Kevin Moss to somebody recently because everyone's talking about how like we shouldn't grade base cards, and I said if grading cards was as relevant then as it, I would literally be sitting on coasters of Kevin Moss.
That's right. 100%.
And Brian Taylor. And Roberto Kelly, and you could kind of go on and on.
The Stadium Club dome set in the Brian Taylor cards. Never got up.
And then, do I have one more?
One more. We'll give you one more. Go for it.
One more, just because he's my favorite non-Yankee kind of player that I saw growing up. 95 Bowman's Best. Vlad Guerrero Sr. rookie card. Love that card. One of my favorites.
Silver looking card. Cool card. That's it, man. Well, listen, you have exposed your Yankee bias, which is great.
I have.
So I will give a double. Go ahead and check out SlabShelf, guys. This is, it's cool stuff. Obviously, at the price point that works for the average collector, which is really cool too. You can stack these. You don't have to just buy one. You can grab a couple of them, free shipping. You look for them at shows. You're going to see this stuff out there. I'm starting to see it all over the place. And, it just caught my eye because it wasn't the craziest, flashiest, shiniest thing, and it paid homage to the cards themselves, right? Like it's a cool product if it's meant to display a product, and the product itself, you're not taking away from the cards, right? You just want a good way to show the cards off, and like you said, you don't even see that the shelf is there, that's a cool thing, right? You want people to look at the cards.
Shelf the card, man. Shelf the card.
Shelf the cards.
Show off the PC. I love it.
It's like a hashtag. Shelf the card. I like it.
Just shelf it.
All right, John. Listen.
Just
So
shelf
look at this SlabShelf. He's got his shirt.
Yeah, of course. Got to rock the brand.
Swag. I love it. I love it. Is that?
You got to send me your size and your address. That's all I need.
There we go. We will do that. All right. Well, listen. This is episode 7 of the Come Up with Cage. Check out John. Check out SlabShelf. You'll see him at a card show coming soon near you, and check him out online and pick up one of his slabs. Thanks, John.
Thanks, brother. Cage, thanks so much. Appreciate you.